As I strolled through the park, my mind was consumed with familiar worries that had been ingrained in me from a young age. Growing up in a tumultuous household where trust and stability were scarce, I had learned to rely solely on myself for survival. Despite finding solace in my newfound faith in Jesus, those old instincts still lingered, causing a constant battle within me to trust Him and relinquish control fully. Desperately seeking guidance, I turned to my Bible and stumbled upon an intriguing revelation. The commandment to trust in God was always directed towards Yehovah, not Jesus. It was a covenant that required us to abide by the laws of the Torah for us to earn His help. This discovery left me questioning my own beliefs. Was I committing blasphemy by trying to mold Jesus into God when the Bible says He was not divine? Was I foolishly attempting to take control of the uncontrollable, a feat only Yehovah could achieve? This revelation shook me to my core, causing me to question everything I'd been taught. But instead of dismissing it, I decided to put it into practice. With a heavy heart and a sense of trepidation, I made the decision to trust in Yehovah and surrender my worries and need for control to Him. It was a leap of faith unlike any other, but I knew deep down that it was the right path for me. The decision to follow Jesus' teachings rather than the interpretations of the church was daunting. It required breaking away from years of ingrained traditions and dogmas. As I delved deeper into studying the Torah and began living my life as if Yehovah were God, my first challenge was to change my understanding of the world around me. Growing up in a Western culture heavily influenced by Plato's dualism, I had always viewed God as a distant figure, only intervening when we prayed. But now, the concept that God permeates everything and everyone, regardless of their faith, was difficult to grasp yet liberating simultaneously. This new perspective meant that God orchestrated everything that happened in my life. There was no separation between supernatural occurrences, scientific principles, logical reasoning, coincidences, and natural laws. It all flowed together seamlessly under the guidance of Yehovah. This realization made it easier to trust in Him to take care of me, a stark contrast to the Christian belief of Jesus ascending into heaven long ago. The weight of the decision to surrender and trust in God was heavier than any burden I had ever carried. It demanded a deep level of faith, one that required me to release my grip on the reins and place them in the hands of Yehovah. This was no easy task, as it meant relinquishing control even when faced with problems I couldn't solve alone. It meant trusting solely in Him, without knowing how things would unfold. Yet, in its own way, it was also incredibly freeing. By acknowledging that many aspects of life are beyond my control and handing them over to Yehovah, because I live by His laws, I found a sense of liberation. The stress and anxiety that come from trying to manage something beyond our abilities is overwhelming. But when we let go and let God, we can find peace and understanding in our circumstances. By trusting in Yehovah, I found peace and rest unlike anything I had experienced before. It turns out that the cure for worry was there all along, trusting in Yehovah instead of trying to control everything on my own. So if you too are struggling with worry, I urge you to try trusting in Yehovah. It may just change your life like it did mine.